49
Good day, everybody. Alright, so today, this one's more of like part of my healing. Um, but it's also for others too, because one of the big things for when you're actually needing to heal is you gotta forgive people. And for me, I want to take a moment and for everybody that's hurt me in the last 35 years, whether it be family, friends, old acquaintances. I forgave a lot of people a long time ago. Maybe not publicly, but inside. Um, and here lately, I've actually been reaching out to a couple people that I know I've wronged and apologized to them personally. So, for anybody that I've actually, hurt over the years, whether it be anything from my frustration triggers and I said things that I shouldn't have, just maybe if I actually did something to you, I want to apologize because I was broken. I mean, it's not a reason. I mean, that's no reason for anything, but, you know, a lot of my problems, when you start healing, you start thinking about all the bad things that you've done over the years. And for everybody that I've hurt, I'm sorry. I really am. I don't expect anybody to fully forgive me, or anybody that I've really wronged. I don't expect them to ever want to talk to me again. But at the end of the day, I am sorry. And for anybody that's wronged me, I do forgive you. Everybody that's ever hurt me, I really do forgive you. The difference is I can forgive everybody that's ever hurt me. Doesn't mean I want you back in my life, because at the end of the day, I don't have any hate towards you, but I can't trust you the same as I did before it happened. So for me, when I cut people off, I don't really want them back, because at the end of the day, some of y'all are my traumas that I'm still healing from or healed from. Um, so that being said, whenever I was talking to one of my friends back in 2011, she was telling me a story about something that happened to her when she was, like 10 years old, 12, something like 11, 12, something like that. And I told her, I said, you need to forgive them. And she's like, no, not happening. And I was like, just hear me out. I was like, you need to forgive them for what they did to you. Doesn't mean you need to let them back in your life or talk to them. I said, but inside your body, inside your heart, you need to fully forgive them, because until you fully forgive that person, it's going to eat at you for a long time until you actually do, or it doesn't. So that being said, I've known what to do and what not to do for a really long time, but it's really easy to tell people what the right path is. Doesn't mean you can do it yourself, because I've known how to heal and whatnot, because I used to help people. I used to give them advice and all that, but it's one of those things, like when I was faced with the traumas myself, you know, I didn't know what to do, because I didn't have nobody telling me what I was telling everybody else. And it was really hard, because I went down dark paths, and can't come back from certain paths. Now, when I say forgive people, it's just, you don't have to call them. You don't have to say I forgive you. You don't have to message them. You don't have to do nothing. It's just inside your heart. You need to say I forgive them. They were in a bad place, and you know, certain people are so broken, and they do things to people that they probably really don't want to do. You know, some people it's, substance abuse, and then the substances, um, they alter your mind to the point of you think it's okay to say or do things, and it's not. But at the end of the day, if you hold on to that hate, it turns you dark. So at some point, you do have to forgive people so that you can heal fully. And, for me, I've forgave certain people a lot, and you can forgive people to a certain point, and it gets to a point where no matter how many times you forgive them, they just keep doing it, and it can make the situation worse. Especially with like domestic violence issues or substance abuse issues, you feel like their words mean nothing, and when their words feel nothing to you, it can get to a point where it can mud your mind to the point that anytime someone says anything, that you can end up just thinking they're lying or they're just talking. And for me, like, I've noticed over the years that so many people hurt me that certain people's words that I cared about, they meant nothing. And, I loved them, but I just felt that they were just saying things. And it really messed with my mind worse because I thought that they were like so special, and then it's just like, why? You said you were going to do something, and now you're not. And I heard so many things that it got to a point that it hit frustration triggers for me. And it's not even like I wanted them to. It's like I could have cared less that they didn't. And it was just like I felt that they were lying to me because so many people did, and it messed with my head, and it was just like I wish I would have forgave other people sooner. I wish I would have dealt with my mental health sooner. But at the end of the day, everything happens when it's supposed to happen. You can't rush nothing. You can't just wake up one day and go, you know what, I'm going to take care of my life, because you might not be ready. So at the end of the day, if you're not ready to forgive people, it might not be good. But if you're already working on your mental health and you're already heading towards, feeling better and whatnot, it's time to forgive people, because the more you hold it in, you're just slowing your process down. Because it's one of those things like, you can't forgive people and you can't work on your mental health if you're still in a bad situation. Sometimes you have to get out of that situation to fix yourself. If you're still in pain and you're still in regret and you really want to better your life, you got to take risks. You have to step out of the box. It sounds scary sometimes, but for me, it's like I cut people off, and it doesn't necessarily feel good because I still have the pain in there. I stop talking to certain people, and it's still like I'll see something or whatnot, or see somebody say something or do something, and all I can think about is how that one person wronged me because of this. It's just like I remember, like I'll see certain things, like for example, I'll see the word, I'll see Afrikaans, which is South African language, and it reminds me of some of the things that I did wrong when I was talking to that person, and it reminds me of some of the things that I feel like they wronged me. But at the end of the day, everything happens for a reason, and everything happens when it's supposed to. So I can never regret nor think about what would have been different if I wouldn't have done this, or if I would have forgave people beforehand, because at the end of the day, it wasn't my time. Now, I feel like it's my time. I need to forgive a lot of people. There's a lot of people in my life that have wronged me. Um, it's just like I'm going to touch a lot of stuff that's in my next video for story time. For me, it's a really deep subject because one of the things my mom told me while she was still in prison was she asked me to look into her case and to try to get her out before she died. She didn't want to die in prison. And I haven't forgave myself for that, because I was, early 20s, and I just felt like I didn't matter. I couldn't do anything because I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to research. I didn't know where to go. And when she died, like, I felt like a monster. But at the same time, I think I grieved different, because when they first said that she had cancer the second time, she went and did her treatments or whatnot, and it actually kind of like put her body in shock. And they gave her like a week to live. So I started knowing that she was dying. It was around March or May. And this was the same time that I was actually talking to the person from South Africa. And there was a lot of things that my mom had said to me, like, we were talking about how South Africa, they really hate Americans, like bad. And she really asked me never to go there. And it messed with my head because I had so much love for that person. And at the same time, it was like I didn't want to betray my mom. And I didn't know where to go. And it just seemed like things happened. I said things, and I put energy in the wrong places, and we went separate ways. So I have to forgive myself for that, because I feel like I did certain things that I shouldn't have, and said things that I shouldn't have. I should have put my energy in certain directions, but at the same time, it was hard to put my energy in that direction because I feel like I was wronging my mom. And for my biggest thing with my mom is, I wish I would have put some energy towards her and her case. But I just didn't know where to go. I didn't have friends that were in that field, and I didn't have anybody I could reach out to. It was really, really hard for me, and I felt like I let her down. That was one of the things that I've had to live with for 9 years, and You know, I'm still trying to fully forgive myself for it, but at the same time, it's not like I can't. It's not like anything I do will change the outcome, because at the end of the day, she still died in prison. Uh, you know, it's all I can do is forgive myself now and work to be a better me. You know, all the people that bullied me in school, they were just young and it's whatever. You know, some people just all they see is materials. They don't see people for who they are. They don't see their actions. I'm a really strong believer in karma. So, it sounds crazy, but so many people that have wronged me, I let karma handle it. And I watched karma bite them hard. And, I watched people steal from me and to buy drugs. And some of them overdosed not far after. Now, I'm not saying that because of what they did to me, karma got them, but it's at the same time, it's a really big coincidence. There's a huge story where that I'll explain on the next video, where the arresting detective, basically whenever I got my felony, he was fingerprinting me, and we were talking, and he asked me my name, and his tone and demeanor changed. He then proceeded to ask what my father's name was, and I said it. And as soon as I said my father's name, it was like he laughed. He was like, he already knew. So then he asked me what my mother's name was. And when I told him, he couldn't hold it in at all. His exact words were, I'm the one that put your mom in prison. And he said it as bold as he could. And, if I wasn't facing 4 felonies, I think I'd have been getting a felony that day. But this was before a lot of my traumas, so I had a lot of control. All I did was just kind of grip the chair and just kind of like talk myself out of it. So I know I've had self-control because I had it before. But, some of the things that happened to me over the years, I lost it because different things, people breaking me. And it's crazy, but, as soon as, the detective came back over to me, we were walking to the magistrate to get my bail and whatnot. We were walking, and the guy pretty much said, "Oh, there was a little boy there that night. Was that you?" And I just kept walking. I didn't answer him. And the detective said to me, he goes, he asked you a question. And I said, yeah, I heard him. I said, I don't talk to people who disrespect me. And I just kept walking. And then I stopped dead in my tracks, turned around, looked him straight in the eyes, and I was like, yeah, I was that little boy. His whole face just turned white. I never heard another word out of him the rest of all the way. Of course, I went to the magistrate, blah, blah, blah. And then I went upstairs. And this was in May. He ended up retiring in September. And, actually, my grandparents, whenever I would call home or whatnot, I kind of told them what happened. And they kind of gave me a few more details about who he was, because I didn't know who he was. I didn't remember him. Yeah, it was But the funny thing about it all was, when I say karma bites people, is, he retired in September that year. He died in October. And when he died, it was like, I knew karma got him. It wasn't like, but it was one of those things I didn't rejoice. I wasn't happy he died. I just knew that he got what was coming. So at the end of the day, you have to forgive people when things happen, when you're ready. Because it can do a lot of damage if you don't. Because, it was one of those things like, everything that happened to me in my early 20s, when my mom died when I was 25, I just spiraled from there, and I went downhill. I went downhill quick. I started associating myself, with people that were just as broken as me, because I wanted to see how they coped with it and whatnot. A lot of them were on drugs, and it turned out to things that I learned through them. I've really seen how drugs affect people, and the thing is for me, it wasn't the drugs that were the problem, it was the people. When you give broken people something that can harm them worse, it's really easy to do harm. But that's a lot for, you have to forgive people, and or it can eat at you for a long time. I'm just now forgiving myself for things that happened when I was in my 20s. You gotta forgive people so that you can move forward and so you can be a better you. Now again, you don't have to bring these people back into your life. You don't have to call them up and say, hey, I forgive you. You don't have to send them a message saying I forgive you. You don't even have to do nothing. But you truly have to let it go, and you have to truly forgive them for the things that they probably didn't have control over. Mental health is a really, really bad thing. If you're not in control of your mental health, you can do things to people that you don't want to do. And you can hurt a lot of people because you haven't dealt with your issues. And part of dealing with your issues is forgiving those that have hurt you. So I hope everybody can get control of their life, and I hope everybody can forgive people. If you need help, if you have questions, hit me up in the comments. I have no problem helping people. I can help talk people through it. I put myself through some pains, and I put myself through some things just so I know how other people can feel. I've talked to a lot of people, from substance abuse, sexual abuse, domestic violence issues, frustration issues. I have a huge heart to help people, and I have a huge memory, so I know what certain people went through. And sometimes I can't help everybody, and some people, when you try to help them, they push you away because they feel like you really don't know where they're coming from. And sometimes you have to be open to what other people say. And sometimes you gotta be open to just walk away. Some of the biggest risks in life have awesome outcomes. I hope everybody has an awesome day. I hope everybody is continuing to be beautiful. I hope everybody's working on their mental health. I want to see everybody be great. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you know anybody struggling with mental health and they need to see this, share it with them. I'm here to help everybody. I share my stories and my knowledge so that other people don't have to suffer like I did. I want to see everybody happy and healthy. That's my goal. I want to see so many smiles, because smiles are beautiful. So, have a nice day. I love you.